A record 393 companies have been recognized for their contributions to making a positive difference to society. That's about 100 more firms from last year. The Company of Good initiative is championed by the National Volunteer and Philanthropy Centre. It aims to encourage firms to include positive social impact in their businesses, strategies and goals. More than three-quarters of those firms who went the extra mile were SMEs. Firms recognized have spanned over 10 industries such as wholesale and retail trade, manufacturing and construction. More than 60 were conferred the highest recognition as champions of good. It was revealed that companies over the last 2 years contributed over $350 million in donations and over 1 million volunteer hours. Coordinating Minister for Social Policies Ong Ye Kung noted how corporate social responsibility is gaining importance, but there are also threats to this.
Fragmentation of work and individuals retreating in your own cyberspace, you can undermine organizations over time. And we need to counter such forces. And one way to do so is to continue to emphasize the value of individuals physically coming together to accomplish more than their business objectives, to help others, to bring about social objectives.
And for more, we have Lin Sufei from the National Volunteer and Philanthropy Centre. She's the Director of Corporate and Industry Partnerships. Thanks, Sufei, for joining us. Now, a record number of firms recognized this year. Well done. What drove this?
I think we see that increasingly more companies in Singapore actually want to do good through the business, right? And not just as a standalone by the way. And this year, together with last year's results, is evidence of that willingness and intention. And so we're very heartened by the results this year to see that more companies are stepping up, more SMEs are stepping up, and actually trying to do good through the business.
Did that surprise you? Was more SMEs this year?
I think building on the traction from last year, we were encouraged to see that some of the firms that were recognized last year encouraged their suppliers and business partners, and everyone brought along a friend, to say, actually, it's not that hard. Just take the first step, or just try and get started on the journey, right? So that's why I think that multiplier effect is what we're seeing, where the companies are like, okay, I think it's not that hard. I am being mandated to be a better corporate citizen globally as well, right? With the reducing of carbon footprint and all. So even in Singapore, I can make that small step. And I'm still contributing to national progress. So I think that's why we're seeing that, that very encouraging signs from small firms.
I like that, the multiplier effect. It's like a virtuous cycle, isn't it? Right.
Yes.
So zooming in on volunteering, corporate volunteering, right? Your organization launched Flexi volunteering program last month to make it easier for corporates to step up. How has the reaction been? How has the response been?
I think we are quite encouraged and heartened that because what we try to do with the volunteering programs that we design is to meet companies where they are at on the journey, right? So we understand that not everybody, depending on the nature of the industry, some are in retail, they can't, take everybody out to go volunteering, right? So how do we design it in a way that encourages them to do so while meeting their daily operational needs and also taking into account the size of the workforce, right? So I think we've seen some traction since the launch of the program. And we're also starting to see that companies in non-traditional sectors, maybe you don't think of them as usually wanting to step forward and do it, are coming up. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is it harder, do you find, to enlist regular volunteers in the corporate space? And what are some reasons that might be? Earlier you said it could be, industry specific, right?
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying...
what are some of the other challenges,
Right. That companies face, right? So sometimes, for instance, in the construction area, right, they actually do a lot of refurbishment, right, for even like rental flats where it's needed, or, for low-income families, they can do painting. But that is mostly based on the workforce that is involved in that. How do you then involve the HQ staff to also go along? If you work in retail, then actually, you can't take everyone from the different retail stores, right, to go and volunteer. Sometimes some companies want to do things beyond what they've been doing on a daily basis. sometimes they don't have the supervisors or the leadership support, right? So when we design programs like Project V, which is a structured volunteering program over 6 months, it gives companies that structure to say, okay, every month I will commit 10 volunteers, right? At least 10 volunteers. And then they get used to the regular, volunteering cycle. And what we do then, we also match them with a community partner, right? Based on their inclinations and also the fit. Right. So then they have a structure that they can work with, and they find that then they can continue doing it by themselves after that. Yeah.
Are there other barriers for companies to volunteer?
So sometimes they don't know how to find the right partner.
Yeah.
They get turned off an experience after the first try if they had a bad experience previously. So that's why we curate these opportunities for them, and we try and find a good match. Right? So that will help alleviate, Then they also need a very strong volunteering champion within the organization to continue that liaison and coordination with a community partner. Because you also cannot expect the community partner to have to fork out, different coordination kind of like hours. So there are quite a few factors involved in ensuring that the volunteering partnership goes well, and not just for a once-off partnership, but also a sustained one. Yeah.
So if a company comes to you, and actually specifically say, can you give me specific help on how to do it? Do you offer those kind of services?
Yeah. So us together with our partners,
right.
We will try and find the best fit. Sometimes they say, I am in education space, so I really want to support the youths or children, right? Because that's directly in line with what their business stands for.
Right.
Then we'll say, okay, based on your staff strength or the nature of your workforce, is it that you are able to do mentoring, or is it coaching, right? Or is it that you want to do befriending? Because then there are certain specific details that also apply in these instances. So we try and ensure that whatever they want to do is aligned to what they stand for as a business and their strategies, right? And we can make a better recommendation.
No, that's very helpful. It sounds very bespoke, isn't it? Almost like a tailored program for, for different companies.
But we because we want to get more of them on the program, so we have kind of created this model where it's replicable, and hopefully that over time they can do it themselves. Right, because they have found a formula where they can then now scale it within their organization and be able to activate more volunteers or more employees to come on the program.
Right, got it. So lastly, Sufei, if you had one message, for a would-be corporate volunteer or somebody who's kind of on the fence, not so confident, what would that one message be to encourage them?
I think it's that every person counts, whether it's as an employee going out to volunteer, or the boss saying, okay, let's do it, or the person that's receiving the support. I think every step by a company counts. Sometimes you don't think about it that, how much can a small company's efforts make? But actually it is tremendous, right? Especially because you give your employees that confidence that I work for a company that cares, right? While also supporting the community in which you operate, right? So I think it's very encouraging with this year's results, right? That we're actually not seeing companies only step up in terms of volunteering, but contributing in diverse ways.
Yes.
And so MVPC stands ready to support companies in this journey.
All right, Sufei, thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing with that. And that was Lin Sufei from the National Volunteer and Philanthropy Center.